All My Children has been one of the top-rated daytime soaps ever since it went on the air in 1970. One of the reasons for its continued appeal has to be the likes of the character of Erica Kane. She's played by Susan Lucci and is full of every man's ideal of beauty, seduction, and romance. Erica is also very powerful. If Erica isn't falling in love or receiving grand gestures of affection, she may just be boiling up a rage to match her romance. Put those two together, romance and rage, and you're bound to wind up with passion. A passion that keeps Erica very interesting. But the character we know, love, and fear as Erica Kane is really the hard work of Susan Lucci. Work that usually measures 12 to 15 hours a day on the set of All My Children in New York City. Recently, while I was in New York, I had a chance to meet with her. And let me tell you, the woman, wife, and mother is every bit as fascinating as the character Erica Kane. Go back to how you met, because I love this story, and I know you've told it to us before, but maybe some of our audience missed it. It's a great story.
Okay, well, basically we met when I was working for him, when I was 17, and Helmut was almost 30, and I wasn't allowed to go out with him because he was an older man, and my parents didn't want any of that. But I got engaged to somebody else in the meantime, and that was a few years later, and we were back at the same place having the engagement party, and Helmut happened to be in the hotel that night. And because of the age difference, my parents knew him too, and they asked him to join us at our table at the hotel for the party. So Helmut sat across from me all night at my engagement party to somebody else, and Helmut leaned over to my mother that night and said, "This thing between Susie and this boy is never going to last." And my mother said she thought he was right. Nobody said anything to me, you know, for about 6 months. And I was thinking that I shouldn't be getting married to the guy next to me, since I wanted to get to know Helmut much better. We had this big attraction that night. Anyway, I broke my engagement a couple months later. Helmut found out the next day and called me up, and he was so funny. And he knew he was funny. I mean, he called me up and he asked me out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And he would like sneak it up on me. You know, we'd be out for lunch, and then he'd say, "Let's take a walk." We'd take a walk. Then he'd say, "Want to have a drink?" Then we'd stay for drinks. Then it was dinner, you know. Anyway. And after 3 months, I mean, on the second date, he asked me to marry him. He said, "I'm not trying to rush you, but..."
Oh, no. Second date.
Second date, after 3 months, because I didn't know what I wanted. I really was just out of school. I had no idea. He said, "You are the slowest woman I have ever met in my entire life." So then I did say I would marry him, and then we got married.
I want to know why this marriage to Helmut has managed to succeed and to last, when in this business it doesn't often happen. What makes him so special?
He's got a great sense of humor, and he's very intelligent, and he's very secure. He's very sure of himself.
I was thinking he must be, because these love scenes, and your lovers on this show, would drive the average man a little nuts.
Except I must say, whenever we go out, you know, people will stop me and say, "Well, now I know why you go home to him." I mean, he's better than anybody I've ever been with.
But he is secure to watch this and put up with it and not have it worry him, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And I often say, if it was the other way around, I would never be like that. Oh, I couldn't stand it.
And you have 2 children, Liza, 11, and Andreas, 6. Well, not yet, but soon. But when you were with us in Stowe, Vermont, we talked about you and Liza, mother and daughter, and it was lovely, the things that you said. Now that she's moving up in age, is anything different?
I see it coming.
Do you?
You know, she's not quite 11, and this Christmas was interesting. I mean, she wanted both dolls and an electric keyboard, and a few little clothes. You know, it's just changing now.
How about
And she got her own mousse for her hair in her Christmas stocking.
That's definitely the first sign it's changing. Being a working mother, and you are, it's got to be tough. There must be a downside. I mean, how do you keep a balance?
It's better now. This is the first year that both children are in school all day. Andreas is in kindergarten. He goes to an all-day kindergarten. They're in the same school. And that's taken a lot of the guilt off for some reason. I guess because they're both doing so well. They always have been anyhow. But now I have more experience under my belt, too. And I can see for myself they are really doing very well. And they're in school all day, so it's not like I'm not home, and I should be, because they're not there anyway.
That's
you know.
good. And then night times and weekends, you're a
I am
parent
home.
first, aren't
I
you?
am home, yes.
Yeah.
And I get home at night and put them to bed, and I have breakfast with them in the morning.
Great. So that's pretty normal.
It is. It's
considering.
really, and I don't work 5 days a week.
Yeah, but you do
usually.
work 4, don't you?
Usually.
You have, obviously, an enormity of talent. Is Erica enough?
I know that I'm supposed to feel like I'm typecast and all of that. I don't think I can ever leave Erica. I'm sure that I will always be associated with this part. And it doesn't bother me. I love the part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it hasn't hindered me in the business. It took me a while to get a part that wasn't the brat. And I guess the part was worth waiting for, because the part in Mafia Princess almost has no basis in comparison to Erica Kane or any of the other parts I've been given to play. And because that part had so much scope and range to it, I think itself made such an impression on people. Well, it's one of the top 3 movies ever made for television in terms of ratings. And the feedback has been tremendous to me. So that also made a huge impression, and it's the exact opposite of the kind of part I play here. I love doing movies. I love it all. I love being in the Winnebago at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
Yeah, I love all that. And I love the camaraderie, and I love the beginning, the middle, and the end. But I also love to do a good part. I mean, Erica is a spectacular part. And I would like the opportunity to do other good work, as I had the opportunity in Mafia Princess.
What's it like working with John? Jean?
Oh, Jean. Terrific. He's such a professional, you know, and he's a nice man.
Do you ever get kind of frightened when they start to bring in a new love interest for you, for Erica?
Sure.
Will it work?
Sure.
But it always does.
Yeah, it always does. And it's kind of like real life, too, in a funny way, because, you know, you're scoping each other out, and you're finding out about each other, and it's fun.
It's great. You wear this so well, this success. You really
thank
do.
You.
You look
nice
terrific.
Thing to say.
And I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you and Helmut and the kids are doing well, and thank you, Susan, for
Oh,
a
you're
chance
very
to talk.
welcome. I'm
Yeah.
glad we got to
Good
see each other
you.
again.
Thanks.